This podcast is produced by Passion Nerdly in association with the Nerds Domain and our parent network, the Southgate Media Group. This podcast could not exist without their support or from support by Patreons like you. For more information on how you can get involved, visit passionnerdly.com. I remember stories from when I was younger. Tales of when the Empire grew vengeful and hunted the clans to the point of extinction. There were masters of deception, spies without equal, warriors of extraordinary ability. This is the legend of a brave few who fought to change the course of history and end the time of woe and terror. Our story begins at the Wooden Dojo. Alright, well, hi, and welcome back yet again to the Wooden Dojo. This is our Ninja Crusade actual play, and I am the DM, John, and I am joined here at the table by...
Hi, my name is Sean. I'm playing Kentaro, the Ninja of the Living Chronicle.
Hi, I'm Cristi. I'm playing Makoto, my bamboo herbalist.
I am Roxy, and I am playing Akemi Hayakawa, and I am a Imperial Engineer.
And I'm Kevin, and I'm playing Kinnojo, and I'm from the Virtuous Bodygardeners clan.
I'm David. I'm also playing a virtuous bodygardener by the name of Sannosuke.
Hi, this is Chelsey, and I'm playing Onishi Taya, also known as Ishi, and she is a blazing dancer.
Alright, so when we last left our intrepid group of ninjas...
Are we intrepid?
Obviously so, you're going places.
Well, there we go.
The dodge and tripping, you know.
Yeah. Haven't seen one of those in a long time.
You had left the countryside outside of the city of Nanchou, or what was once a city and is now a large prison community. You had made your way alongside another ninja in your group known as Rin, who is coming to the capital to impersonate a member of essentially the imperial family almost. This is a high, noble family. She had fallen ill to poison, and there's a huge amount of curious conflict about what has happened to this individual. But this group needed to go to the capital in order to hide this woman's disappearance, replacing her with a copy. You had made your way across the countryside through various situations and found yourselves approaching the ivory-walled capital city. Huge, 500,000 people or more live here. This is a major metropolis, and of course the surrounding farmland and everything else, the slums. I mean, this has been quite a trek, especially for a group that's been stuck out in the countryside for so long. So, as your characters enter into the city and through these large gates, massive gates, you smell the smell of cherry blossom trees and are surprised as you enter in that this area, this city, is so unbelievably clean, well kept, manicured lawns, the trees in and of itself, or, everything has a certain amount of ornateness to it once you go through those walls. There are, of course, the various rock gardens interspersed around these businesses, each one almost perfectly manicured. It's just mind-boggling to you. Some of you have heard of this or seen small examples of this. This is it on a large scale. Entire areas the size of where homes could have been that are these large gardens. The townhomes themselves, these large townhomes called machaya, which are stacked together homes with a little bit of space between them, but these are businesses and offices and warehouses and homes As you're entering into the city, there's these barkers and people calling out, inviting you to come into the inns or into their businesses. And there's a bustle of people as well. These huge swells of travelers of all types. I mean, we're talking about performers, artisans, merchants, even commoners are traveling openly on the road into the capital. There's a small trickle of people leaving, merchants and other things, but the city is swelling with business. It's amazing. You see festivals, like there are displays and acrobats performing off in various sections, towering displays. And one of these displays as you're walking in are these two large puppets of paper mache, of these two swordsmen clashing. It's very slow, dramatic movement, but you see their blades crossing, coming apart, and crossing again. And the puppets duck, and I mean these are huge. We're talking like over 10 feet tall puppets that are being led around on these large sticks, and the crowd is just loving it and watching this from a distance. But the thing is that the crowd is still moving. If you've ever been to Disneyland or a theme park or something like that, and the crowd is just moving and you have to keep with it, even though there's all these distractions, it's kind of a situation like that. And definitely not something you were at all expecting. As you're entering in, what are your characters doing?
Does it appear to be like a festival, or does this seem to be like an everyday thing for the city?
You would be led to believe this is probably a festival, but it's obviously not one falling in any date that you're familiar with. Let's go ahead and go around the table really quick. So, Sean, what is Kentaro doing?
I think unless somebody reins him in, Kentaro's probably getting more and more distracted with all these things. And he's kind of like doing that slow wander off thing.
Okay.
So where he's kind of like falling behind. Like, oh, this is like, I read about this. This is like the last dynasty. And this is supposed to represent, what is it now? I'm trying to remember. I'm kind of like getting distracted in the sidetrack.
Was anybody going to try and reel him in or bring him along to some extent?
I mean, if I noticed that he was straying too far,
That's right. Sorry about that.
Stay with us.
Cristi, what's Makoto doing?
She's taking in the sights, but she's also kind of curious to see how they've managed to keep all their greenery and stuff so fresh and healthy.
Yeah,
because she wouldn't think that in a city this size that they would actually be able to sustain something for so long. So she's kind of like looking at some of the cherry blossom trees and seeing if they've got like special, soil containers, or what are they doing to actually have them grow inside city walls.
You do notice when you're taking the time to watch, there definitely are imperial workers tending to a lot of this. If you might see like a piece of trash, you might say, aha, there's that one. And there is probably a worker who walks by, grabs it quietly, puts it in a bag, and keeps walking looking for other things like that. You see gardeners, and they all have, it would be a common garb, but it would also be a common garb of a very specific color, so that it identifies them obviously as working with for the Empire, having a very important job to some extent, but at the same time keeping them in the background.
And I would say we have aqueducts running under the entire city that keeps everything watered. So you may not be able to see it, but there is water below us.
I wonder if I can fashion something. And she kind of wanders a little bit, kind of thinking.
If I heard you mumble that, I'd be like, if you want to know, I can help you with that.
Speaking of which, Roxy, what is Akemi doing with all this?
Probably looking around. I would assume that there might be engineers. I was going to ask if this looks to be some sort of organized festival, and it doesn't coincide with a holiday or something like that. We haven't determined necessarily how long I've been gone, but would this resemble festivities that might occur for a royal birth or a royal birthday?
Definitely not anything along those lines.
But would I have an idea, or could I roll potentially?
Yeah,
to
let's
have
go
an
ahead.
idea?
You could go for a knowledge perception, perhaps.
Okay. Take some dice back now. Let's see. Knowledge perception?
Yeah, knowledge perception.
It's not as awful as it could be. I get the roll plus 1. I haven't had to roll yet, so I
Yeah.
just get what my 2 skills are.
Yes, you get what your 2 skills are for the situation. Yes.
You know, unless you have a gift that helps that further.
Do I have a? I don't think so. No, my gifts are
Or, sorry.
specialties. Oh, I think I wrote them down somewhere else, but I don't have anything that'll help with this. I don't have anything like protocol or imperial anything. I was all about bang bang shoot shoot. 1. Probably not. I probably don't know, but I had 1 success.
Yeah, well, I was kind of checking that too.
Things in your mind are like, okay, what kind of festivity would this be? And you're like, okay, it's not a birth, it's not something royal, it's not necessarily something royal, but
I mean, they wouldn't do this if somebody died.
no, this would be something along the lines, you know, you're like, this is a festival, this is a celebration, this is a celebration, it's a contest. Maybe it's a contest of some sort.
Like a tournament?
Possibly.
Like we're getting ready for like a tilt?
It's hard to say for sure, but there's that's kind of more the air of what you're getting here.
I would probably, if I was having trouble understanding what was going on, if I saw like acrobatic performers
Mm-hmm.
over the last couple days of traveling, I would probably go to Taya and say, you might be able to speak to the performers with, I mean, especially if people know you, perhaps. Do you know these performers? Could you ask them what's going on? Because Akemi would be concerned that this will make it easier for us to get in, clearly. We were able to enter without much question because people are coming and going. But if something's going on, what are we, especially if we have Ren's already in disguise, correct?
Yes.
Why would she just be walking in for, you know, it would have been easier, I think, if we would have said, oh, she's back and we need to take her to where she belongs. But now it's like, why are you walking in and not knowing what's going on?
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get to your character on that for Taya, let's go ahead and I want to go ahead and get Kinnojo. Is there anything that you were doing out of the way? I just want to be able to keep everything in order.
So what I want to try and do, I want to, so I put like, you know, a little thing on me to signify that I was hacking out. I want to remove that, and then I want to sort of just say to the rest of the group, I'm going to be right back. And then I walk over to someone who looks like they know. Oh, actually, no. I want to try and find someone who looks like they're an Imperial Guard or maybe one of the Imperial workers. Just someone who looks like they're official.
All right.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and hold there. What kind of test would you be doing for this?
So what I want to do is I want to say I want to be very hurried and frantic, and I want to say, excuse me, I need to deliver a message to 2 noble households. There is one is the Sakamoto household, and the other one is the Arata household. I'm new in the city, and I just need to know where those 2 households are.
Let's go ahead and you're looking for maybe some empathy from them, or empathy on yourself, but you're also trying to do what? You're trying to be deceptive about it?
Yeah, I'm trying to deceive them, and
or persuade?
Or a
I could go for
performance?
persuade.
Let's do that then. Let's go ahead and do perception, persuade.
No,
Deception.
deception.
And I will use a karma point as well because I want as many dice as I can get. Two successes.
That karma point came in handy.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
actually on that die too.
Yeah, wow.
Nice. You walk up to one of the workers, and he's like kind of raising an eyebrow. He's like, why is he talking to me? But then you say what you're like, I need to find these places. And he's like, you need to head to the Noble District. Go down that road there, and you're going to proceed through some gates. And I think that there is the Children's Palace will be there on the right, and you need to take a right on the other side of it. And I think it's at the end of the lane. Is the first house you mentioned, the Sakamoto? Sakamoto? I
Yes,
think
Sakamoto.
that's the house.
Okay.
And probably from there, they should be able to tell you where the other one is.
Sure. So I thank him profusely and bow many times unnecessarily, and then I make my way off.
All right, and so now on to let's get Taya in there really quick. What are you going to be doing?
So with all the performers around, this is probably my first time seeing other acrobats and gymnasts. So I'm kind of keeping an eye out to see if I recognize anybody from previous travels. But I would like to roll to see if I recognize being in this festival as a performer in the past, to know if this has been something I've been at before, to get some more information.
You can go ahead and make an intuition knowledge roll to know if you've performed in this before.
Okay, so I have intuition, and then I get +1 to knowledge to try to recall local information from wherever I am. So
All right, there you go.
gets me my 2 die. Come on. If
Yeah, go for it.
You got thumbs.
that's true. 1 success.
1 success. You don't think you ever performed in this before.
Okay.
But I will offer this up as a wonderful GM, and of course playing a little bit of devil's advocate with those karma points. I will let you spend 2 karma for one of the performers there to be somebody that you know. Rewriting the scene using that power for karma.
I
You gotta
would
spend them.
be.
That's what they're for.
I mean, I'm fine
Yeah,
with
for-
that if the rest of the team is as well.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I'd go
Go
for
right
it.
ahead. Yes.
All right. So, do you wish to create this character, or do you wish for me to do so?
If you would do so.
All right. Let's see. One of the people who is forming a human pyramid as part of the festivities is a young performer that you remember. Obviously now quite a bit older. There's this brief moment where it was kind of hard for you to recognize her. Her name is Haru. At least that's the only name that she really used. Never really had a family name.
It's like me and Ishi. That's where
yeah.
Ishi came from.
She was an orphan, and so this is pretty much the only thing anyone ever really calls her is Haru. She's obviously older, taller, now taller than you, but she is part of this human pyramid, and during a moment where she's part of this pyramid and does a backbend to a handstand, she looks at you, and you see a flash of recognition in her eyes, and obviously a flash of recognition in your own, as, oh, I know you, kind of moment.
Yeah.
And once the performance, her part in that performance is done, she, of course, jumps down, hopping, and runs over to you, throws her arms around you, and says, like, I never expected to see you in the Capitol. What are you doing here?
Haru, what are you doing here?
I'm performing. This is the most wonderful thing in the world, don't you think?
Yeah.
I'm performing the Capital Daiwa. I would never think that I would have done this in my entire life.
Yeah, I don't know how Joe got the gig, but what is this gig? What is this performance?
What
are
do you
we?
mean?
What is the celebration?
You're in the Capitol and you don't know what the celebration is.
Correct. It's been a long. It's a long story.
You just get to go everywhere and have the most wonderful adventures. I just don't understand. No, the Emperor has invited 2 of the greatest sword masters in the land to a duel here.
That's why they're there. Those 10
Yes, oh my
puppets.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So the invitation went out. There was a challenge given by the 2 swordsmen. I know that one is known as Cheng, and of course all the local people like to call him Lightning Cheng. And he is going to be one of the major individuals in this competition. The other one, he offered this statement to the individual in white. And so very mysterious, very unusual. Nobody knows who this person is. But supposedly there's going to be a big duel. And the Emperor, hearing about it, said that the duel was of such cultural importance that it should be held at the highest place in the land. And so there's this huge stage that has been made just outside the palace, and the Emperor is going to be watching it from overhead, and all these people are going to be coming together to observe it, and only certain people are going to be able to watch. They have to have special tickets to get into it, to go see it, and it's the biggest thing that has happened in this city in hundreds of years.
I'm not used to seeing so many people here.
Oh my goodness, it's
Are people
amazing.
coming to here and not running away?
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. This is so.
When is the duel?
It is happening in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, and they're celebrating now. Wow.
Yes. Oh, people have invitations are going out, and people are bringing in wares because noble families from all around the kingdom are supposed to be coming here. Some of the outfits that I have seen are so stunning, and this is just gushing over the entire thing. And then of
Yes.
course her lead performer is just like, "We need you for the next part," and she's like, "I've got to go.
Oh, okay.
I hope I see you around."
Okay, you're here the 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay,
And
great.
she runs back and doing backflips and handstands and cartwheels into the middle of it and barrel rolls under somebody between someone's legs and springs up. The
That's
crowd is
Haru.
going wild.
That's Haru for you.
But so this is the information you have found.
Okay.
David, what is Sannosuke doing?
Okay, so being in this environment there in the capital, surrounded by hustle and bustle, all the noise, lots of people, makes him a little uneasy. He prefers the quiet. So he takes a moment, it sort of gets to him. He reaches instinctively for his sword to grab it for comfort, but then realizes that he's melded it into the tattoo on his back, so he doesn't even have that to hold on to. So he pauses for just a moment, takes a deep breath, relaxes, lets it wash over him, and pulls his little sake bottle from his belt and takes a drink, and takes another deep breath, and he looks and he sees Kentaro starting to wander off again, so he walks all over to Kentaro and kind of puts his arm around him, hands him the bottle, and it's like, "Hey, how's it going, man? You looking for some another story to tell, I imagine, huh?"
I'm sure there's lots of stories around us. You want to come with me?
And he pushes the bottle into his hands. Like, "Yeah, let's see what we can find."
Kentaro kind of looks at the bottle for a second and kind of sniffs it, looks back at you, and then takes a swig.
There you go. And he puts the cork back in and hangs it from his belt.
That didn't taste very good.
You'll get used to it.
Okay, so everybody has a certain amount of information and everything with what's going on. What are y'all going to be doing at this point?
I'm trying to hurry back to everybody to share the information about what's actually going on and what's happening in 2 weeks and what we may have to prepare
Makoto
for.
has wandered off within eyeshot to like one of the street vendors, and she's looking for something sweet to eat.
Oh, there is tons of stuff, obviously.
Her sweet tooth is screaming 'cause she's getting all these smells, and she's
Hardened sugar
gotta
treats.
try something.
I mean, there are things here that delectable things from the entire empire. Even the smell of like roasted fruits that's been prepared with like a cinnamon and honey. Yeah, I mean, it's almost too much. You have money, you have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Are you just gonna like get an armful of whatever you can?
She's gonna find honeyed fruit. She's gonna get some, if there's anything like chocolate, she's gonna find something like that. Maybe some pastries, and she's gonna come back with an armload. Well, she's gonna have her coolie hat and put it down and put in her coolie hat, and she's gonna walk over to everybody, and she's like, "Come on, guys, you gotta try some of this. This is so great. Oh my god!" And she's like, just like.
And she's going to be like, "That's all that you got?" and starts to run off to go get some more.
And Kinnojo will take a thing from it and take a small bite and say, "Okay, so we don't just stay right here and look like a bunch of foreigners and outsiders. I've got the location of the Sakamoto household. I think we need to head in a direction so that we don't arouse any suspicion, and then we can perhaps drop off." Sakamoto's son. I don't know.
We do have badges, though.
How
They're
can
very
we?
official looking.
How can we raise suspicion? I mean, there's so many different people here right now. We couldn't blend in any better.
Yes, but we do have a high-ranking noble with us, just
Yeah, my
wandering around
concern
among
is
the
that
common
we have
people.
we do have an
There might even be an assassination attempt on the wrong person. So let's
I
probably
forgot
get
about
her
that.
yeah.
to where she
Yeah, what
needs
is
to
Ren
go.
doing? Are they just chilling?
Rin has kind of,
hid behind a fan and
at this point, is appearing very feminine. So I am transitioning with the pronoun of she in this situation, obviously trying to impersonate the character that she is now. So she has taken a shawl, placing it over her head, and is using a fan to hide her appearance. So,
Strangely enough, I didn't think you would have to be the one that would have to be in disguise as we entered the city, but as it is,
Being too recognizable.
yeah.
That's-
It wouldn't be good. I mean, with especially going through the slums, that would not have been good.
Mm.
As an aside, when Ichi tells a story about the two duelists, can I roll to see if Kentaro recognizes either one of them?
sure.
'Cause
Absolutely.
I was thinking I could roll knowledge plus fighting since they're
Yeah.
warriors, and then I got a specialization in warriors.
Let's go for that. Absolutely.
I have 8 dice.
And Roxy, can I actually borrow the Empire's Reign book really quick?
Oh, yeah.
So I have 5 successes.
Whoa.
Wow.
You're rolling very well.
It's those
I'm
purple
just getting
dice.
lucky. Yeah, it's the
Wow.
purple.
Note to self, borrow purple dice next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, my gunslinger dice. They're neither here nor there.
Okay.
I think it's the dice, the tray there. Is that the aggro box tray?
Yeah.
No, well,
Yeah.
we're both using
Uh,
aggro
The
boxes.
aggro box too, but it's not doing it for me.
It's
Lucky
You're
Dice
doing
Tray is
it.
brought to you by Agrobox.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We love aggro boxes. He's a really cool guy. I believe his name's Sean. Sean
They're
Irish.
not only beautiful, but they bring your dice good luck.
Mm.
That's
We'd
true.
like to think so.
Scientifically proven to affect
yeah.
good luck.
To not aggravate you.
Oh!
Sorry, you set me up.
So, Lightning Chung, you have heard that name before, and you know that individual. It comes from a really somewhat underwhelming background. They were, in fact, a peasant who has made their way up, was once a soldier, dedicated themselves to the way of the sword, and eventually, it just has become kind of a hero to the people to some extent. Just this almost legendary figure who kind of wrongs the rights wherever they travel and things of this nature. I mean, it's not so much a Robin Hood-esque character, but, almost as close as it gets in this, day and age for the world.
I'll
But-
basically explain to everybody that Lightning Chin is like a local folk hero, but like a really big name as far as folk heroes go.
Can you spell the last name or the surname?
Chung, Cheung.
Okay. I heard Chang at first.
I believe he is undefeated in his last 20 or so matches.
And the other, however, with the role that you got, you're like, wait a second. In white. And it definitely enters your mind, because there's only, you think most
Right.
people wouldn't realize it, but knowing about duelists and warriors, there's only one warrior that is described that way. And that would be Ichikayo Kaio. So ICHIKYO KAIYO. And this is perhaps one of the leaders of the Ichikayo family, who is the family that heads up the Silver Blades. One of the elite warriors who hunts ninja. This is perhaps one of the most famous swordsmen in all of the world.
And he's from a family who kills ninja.
Yes.
Yeah, Kentaro explained this
Perfect.
too, but it's curious that they would be having a duel between these two figures. A famous ninja hunter and a local?
Gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling.
What was the name of the clan that the Ichikayo family?
The clan is called the Silver Blades.
The Silver Blades.
And this is one of the families that perhaps your group probably loathes and fears the most.
Mm-hmm.
I am a big fan of Chang. I am not certain that this match is fair.
Mm.
I have probably seen some atrocities of the Silver Blades in my travels.
Is this a duel to the death?
They usually are.
Between two masters, I would imagine that's the case.
And they're celebrating this?
People get pretty bloodthirsty.
And they
Is
like to show
Lightning
off.
Chang, does he have any association with ninja?
No.
Not
Just-
that we know of.
A common hero is the best way to put it.
Perhaps it would be worth investigating why this duel is happening.
Mm. Yeah, my friend did not have any further information. She says that you had to have special tickets to be able to even go see the duel happen, and invitations were going out now. So we have some time to find out why.
True. We have 2 weeks, you said?
Yes.
Right, but first stop, I think, needs to be the Sakamoto household,
Mm-hmm.
and we can get in and set up our Sakamoto here.
Yeah, and we need to go to the Arata. The note did tell us to go straight there, didn't it? Or at least at some point.
Yes.
Well, either way, yes, getting me into the household.
Yeah, we
would
need
be
to get
best.
we need to get out of the city commons
Mm-hmm.
as quickly as possible.
Well, Kinnojo lead the way.
All right. Well, the gardener fella told me where it was, so we just turned down this street and then that street and then.
And I probably know where it is too,
Okay.
just from living here. But
Do
Your
we have an exact plan on what we're doing when we get there, or are we just kind of winging it?
unfortunately,
winging it
Ren.
is how I do it
Yeah.
best.
I would say, Ren, this is up to you,
Mm.
or Mistress Sakamoto. This is up to you.
Yes, we will be looking for Arata Koizumi.
Atarata Ryokan.
Raccoons.
You begin to travel down the road, cobblestone, well paved, everything again so well manicured. And as you get closer and closer to what is essentially the noble section of Daiwa, it just gets nicer, which is hard to imagine. But then you cross, it's a much shorter wall that separates the essentially what is one of the marketplaces of this city from the noble district. And it's about a 12-foot tall wall, well kept, and you enter into the noble section. Here you see small walled estates, and for the most part, it's very quiet here. The use of you had the crest on that y'all were using, and the guards see that and they pay no attention to that as your group goes through the gate. But for the most part, it's a much smaller crowd here. A lot of these estates appear to be either small amounts of people within them. You might see a servant or two moving about, or they might be abandoned. At one point, as you're traveling through this section, following these instructions, something about the children's palace, you actually see one of these estates has a bulwark with, crossed pikes in front of it, spread out, kind of like a martial barrier, and you see imperial soldiers. Looking beyond that wall, you see tons of imperial soldiers. In fact, you would say that they have essentially taken over one of these estates, possibly turning it into a marshalling headquarters. Perhaps this is one of the noble families that fell into disfavor, and their grounds were taken by the emperor. But
Would I know?
more than likely that you'd be like, yeah, that's exactly what this is.
It's a pretty common thing these days.
And as you continue walking, you see this, what could be best described as a very simple playground. Small child-sized homes, slide, teeter-totters, the things that spin that kids can run along, a maypole and everything else, all these things. A small sign, of course, says Children's Palace. While it is perfectly pristine, it is in excellent condition, it is untouched. There are no children playing outside.
Does it look like it hasn't been used in a long time?
More than likely. Now, obviously it's still in fine condition, but no, you don't see any footprints in the stones surrounding this. It's just been left.
Kentaro looks at Ichi, looks at a slide, looks at Ichi, looks at a slide.
Yeah, you see me kind of looking and planning to climb over the fence and go test it out.
I think Kentaro would boost you up over the fence.
I don't want to give us
No,
away.
yeah, not yet,
Yeah,
guys.
let's
Not yet.
stay on target first.
We're
we can
trying to
sneak in
get
here at
them
night.
in, not pretend that
Play
she's a
around.
child.
Kentaro looks a little bit disappointed and puts his hands back at his sides.
Yeah.
He says, maybe later.
I've had your shoulder. I'm like, thanks for the offer.
So what you said was take a right after the Children's Palace. And you begin going down this road, and it's not long before you see a large, sprawling estate at the very end of it. A nice pointed wall, torches outside of it, lit by oil. This is obviously a very high family here. This has got to be it.
Is there no crest?
There is a crest upon the door. Doors are open, but walking up to it and looking on the doors, you see it. Yes, this is the home you are looking for.
Sakamoto.
Yes. There is a gardener who is out there, much more common garb, who is working over one of the gardens, sees your group walk in, and, of course, Rin tosses off the shawl, and, it's just like, moment of truth, and looks over at the gardener. The gardener looks at Rin, and his eyes go wide, it's like, and it takes off for the house. Rin's kind of like under her breath, is this a good sign or a bad sign?
I think if it hadn't been a good sign, he would have just raised alarm, not run away.
Mm-hmm.
Does the house look like it has guards?
There, after a few moments, what appears to be possibly a singular guard and about 5 servants are rushing out of the front of the home. They approach your group, and immediately the servants are like, "Yes, welcome, and we'll and begins essentially almost taking everything you're carrying off of you to carry into the home. Rin is playing along, being, you're noticing those very practiced movements. It's like, oh yes, of course. And the guard walks up and is just like, Mistress Sakamoto, we were entirely unaware that you were coming today of all days, and you didn't even send word when you arrived at the gates of the city. And Rin's basically just nonchalantly waves a hand and is like, it was unnecessary. As you can see, I have my own escort. And he looks around the group and is just like, yes, of course.
Kentaro sticks in his stomach.
Okay. Are these guests? It's just like, you will show them the highest courtesy while they are here. Of course, Mistress Sakamoto. Please. And shows everyone in. There's a point where, unfortunately, each one of you, to some extent, is going to end up getting separated as they show you all to different rooms. This is a large enough estate that everybody's getting their own place.
Right.
The first 1 or 2 of you who walk in, we'll just go around and say more than likely the ladies amongst the group, they show you to your rooms first. There are already cots set out. You have a little pot of tea sitting on top of a brazier, and you move on. And as you continue through, you arrive at the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th room, and the servants are still getting the cots out and tossing them out and unrolling them and beating out all the dust and whatever else for everyone. Of course, are very apologetic as all this is happening. And finally, of course, the servants go about their daily tasks as well as getting things ready, because obviously we're going to have many more guests for dinner this evening than they had ever thought. If somebody needs to go down to the market, things need to be procured. They, of course, are going to ask everybody, "What do you need? Is there anything you need? We're headed to the market. Is there anything you need? Can we get you anything?"
I mean, we still got all the food from the festival, so
Yeah,
I'm good.
I think we're okay.
No, thank you. We appreciate your courtesy.
These accommodations are acceptable. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Can
Flustered beyond reality, but baths are obviously offered amongst other things. But is there something you're looking for?
Did any of the servants that we saw, that we interacted with, seem not just surprised to see Sakamoto, but maybe a little
Disbelieving?
disappointed or suspicious?
Oh, well, let's go ahead and if you want to make a perception test along those lines. Perception would definitely be used. Intuition is possible, amongst other
Empathy
things.
or something.
Perception, intuition, is that a thing that can happen?
Yeah, perception, intuition. Do you wish to make that test? Do you wish to have any assistance with the test, or?
Is anybody else? I mean, how does assistance work? Do they just roll up?
Basically, one of you provides one stat while the other one provides another.
Oh, I'm at 3 on both,
Okay.
so I'll take.
That's my 2 combined.
I'll take.
Are you, Sakamoto okay? Or not Sakamoto, Sannosuke? Sannosuke?
Sannosuke.
Yeah, she's got me beat on those, so she might as well do it on her own.
I am gonna take a karma point because might as well.
Okay. So
What are we at left on the karma box there?
we have 4 left in the box.
Okay.
5. What was the difficulty on that?
I'm going to say that the difficulty, to some extent, I was going to have it modulated, by and large, you don't sense anything from the group. It's not so much disappointment, but there is one individual that seems shocked. Like
Okay. That's what I was looking for.
You get an ill feeling. That one was a 4. By and large, it was 2 otherwise.
Okay.
This person, you definitely register that this person is
Did I
shocked.
get a name or anything, or took note of what service they seem to be providing?
It is one of the housemaids who also works a lot of the basic tasks here in the house, named Min, M-I-N. So as tasks are happening and everything else, how much are y'all availing of the services that are now being offered here? I mean, they're offering cleaning your clothes, drawing baths, asking if you need anything. I mean, let's go around the table really quick. Sannosuke, what are you going to be doing in this situation?
I will absolutely take advantage of taking a bath. Have clothes cleaned, get a bath, eat something.
Now, one question I have, as far as ninjas are concerned, I mean, are tattoos common in the Imperial area? I mean, if somebody saw all these guys' tattoos, would that immediately raise a white flag or a red flag that they are?
They would be considered unusual, and they would draw suspicion in certain situations, especially...
But you guys are mostly covered.
Yeah.
When we're seen by people, though, right?
Some people have been, yes.
Okay.
I believe most people here keep them out of sight by and large, especially since y'all were coming into the capital. I was kind of expecting that.
Okay, I was just...
But that does bring up a point. Are you going to allow anyone in the room, or are you going to change privately after they draw your bath?
Well, I figure they usually give you something else to put on, so you would change, give them your clothes, and then go have the bath. And it's either like a private bath or like all the guys could go and soak.
Yeah,
that sort of thing, and then
this would be
depending on how it's set up. So,
as a sign of power and opulence, this would be a private bath.
Okay, well then I would have like a kimono that I could put on, go into the bath. Then when done, you put the kimono on and go back to your room.
But would you do it in such a way that you would want absolute privacy? No servants would be able to see your body at any point.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have any servants in where they could see the body.
There we go. Is there anything specific that you'd be doing during this point?
Besides bathing?
Yeah, just like take a bath and eat something and relax in the room and drink. Maybe visit a little with some of the others in the group if we get that chance.
All right, we'll definitely come back to that. So now we're on to Chelsey with Taya. What would she be doing in this situation?
So she would also very much take advantage of the bath. Especially her hair is quite long, and she just kind of wants to wash that and feel more revived. Also probably try to fit in just like a couple of stretches just for the aches of all the long traveling that was done. And very much food. Probably scaring the servants a little bit by telling them how much to leave, and they probably have already gone back to market because they did not realize that they would have a voracious dinner guest. So, yeah, and she's just living it up.
Okay, Kevin, with Kinnojo, what would he be doing?
I'm pretty much going to do the same thing as Sannosuke. I'm going to be, very, very much intent that no one is in the room when I disrobe for my bath. Even though I have stuff like actually wrapped like more than my clothes, but yeah, I'm just gonna take the bath. I would like some tea brought to me after my bath, and just sort of enjoy that. And then afterwards, I will also try to sort of find other members of the group and just try and converse and see what is up.
Now, with your character, you have a little bit of a noble background, don't you?
I do, yes.
So is this registering anything along those lines for your character? Any kind of nostalgia, or?
Yeah, well, he... So for the audience, we talked about this off mic, but my character comes from a noble family outside the capital, but his family was all killed by Imperial soldiers because his family was accused of associating with ninja, which, to his knowledge, to this day, they weren't. So as we're walking in and he's seeing all these empty houses, he knows some of these families. Some people were probably driven out, some people probably left as they wanted to, but a lot of people were probably also killed or imprisoned, wrongfully. Even if they were associating with ninja, to him it's wrongful. So he's sort of stewing on that right now, and he's his hackles are up against the Empire right now. You know, more so than usual, because they always are. Because, yeah. But, yeah, so he's sort of thinking about all that stuff as we go into the future.
Okay. Roxy, how about Akemi?
If someone hasn't already said, seeing that she's in garb and standard dress for an Imperial engineer, if somebody hasn't already offered to contact her people, she would probably feel obligated to at least make some sort of report.
Okay.
As and not report, but just say I'm back in the city for X amount of time. If I have friends or if I have a project that I need to report on, you know, I would do so in order to maintain my general orders to continue knowledge seeking.
And all right, so we'll take care of that with report coming in and everything else. Cristi, for Arima?
Makoto would definitely take advantage of the bath, something that she probably hasn't experienced in this opulent of a form in a very, very long time, if ever, because, you know, she spent most of her younger days, you know, outside of the time that she was with her father, on the road all the time. So getting a chance to experience other things in other places and fancier places, definitely something that she would do. She would, you know, she doesn't have anything physically on her to hide, so as far as the being private, she probably would have a servant in there and asking for tea and maybe some cakes or something, you know, and just go lounge in the bath for a little while and take in her surroundings, you know, just kind of let the experience for the moment, even though she knows that they're here for a serious reason, but just to kind of use the time to kind of recenter and just take it in, and then once she's done, she'll get with everyone else as well and see what the plan is from here.
All right, so Sean with Kentaro.
I don't think Kentaro interacts with his servants that much, but he kind of has a habit of traveling while broke a lot. So I think he's kind of being a bad hotel guest, being like, "Oh, this pillow looks very soft. Oh, this blanket would be pretty warm," and just kind of like swapping out things.
Okay. All right. So, but obviously, as far as bathing goes or anything else, I mean...
Oh, he'll bathe and stuff.
All right, but really it's no big deal to him otherwise.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, in and out, quickly done. Oh, well, this is nice. More than likely, the staff might take notice of that, but they're not going to say anything. I mean, it's one of those things that it's the mistress's guest, it's the mistress's guest. You know, just moving through as you're doing that, you know, it's kind of one of those things where...
Kentaro's actually pretty stealthy, too, though, so...
Yeah.
They're kind of on the side.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything super valuable, just, like, comfortable things.
All right. Eventually, of course, you all have the opportunity to meet together. A late evening tea is served at one of the gardens on the estate, and you all have the opportunity to talk again. Rin is there, and they are still maintaining the appearance, obviously, of Eiko.
Was there any paintings or portraits around the estate that we could...
There were, and many of various family members and everything else, and the likeness was pretty much dead on, thankfully. One of the nice things about it was that Rin, they had managed to get, you know, the makeup on there, and the makeup can help to hide some of the features, and now that they have a better idea what it looks like, you know, they've altered more of their appearance a little bit more to match what they're seeing. So Rin, of course, seeing all of you is just like, oh, I think we did it. Unfortunately, I also think I'm stuck here.
Yeah, I think that was part of the idea.
That was part of the plan, because if she was gone...
Well, we could always have Mr. Sakamoto go to her chambers, and then perhaps you leave as a servant, if you like. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The issue is I am concerned that you didn't arrive with any handmaidens.
I know.
So I assume they're going to try to replace those.
Just quick, just point of order for the conversation itself. Are there servants around? Are they?
No, at this point, you have privacy.
Okay.
This is one of those times where in the evening, the servants themselves have retired to have their own meals.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we glance around real quick to make sure we have
Yeah,
privacy?
absolutely. That would be a perception intuition if you really truly want to make sure.
Sure. Does anyone want to help? I'm not really good at intuition.
I can
I've
help
got
with something.
I've got a 3 intuition.
Go for it. I'm also keeping an eye out for
So I got
that
1.
for Min.
So we got
Okay.
2 altogether.
2 altogether? All right. You're specifically watching for men, so go ahead and make the perception intuition as well.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, so you make the difficulty and get a boost.
Nice roll.
Sweet.
Nicely done.
Okay, see, the gunslinger dice are meant for me. They only roll well for me.
Yes.
You observe her exiting the estate
Like through the front door or through like a
through
side
probably
door?
more a side door, servants, entrance
Okay.
and exit out of the estate.
Is that before we sat down to talk?
That's probably, we'll say you were on your way there.
Okay.
Min is carrying a basket, more than likely. There's a certain amount of the appearance that headed to a market.
Okay.
There's an appearance that it might be for legitimate reasons.
Yeah, I don't trust her.
At this hour?
Yeah. Although I probably would withhold currently that I noted that she seemed shocked. So that is, I will currently play that close to the vest.
So the rest of us do not know that then.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
But continuing on,
I don't know if that gives us a karma point. I do have a gain 1 karma when I choose to not share helpful knowledge with the group.
I
Yeah.
see.
I don't know if it would be helpful knowledge or if it's just a,
yeah, it would have been. So, but it's okay. That is knowledge your character does have. Rin is processing everything and continues. So, I think it would be wise to go tomorrow and not tonight to go see, I believe it was Arata?
Errata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I would go tomorrow. Rumor has it that the Noble District is not very safe right now to travel at night. That people have been disappearing.
That's strange.
You think it'd be the
So-
most protected part?
Well,
It
maybe
seems
not
rather empty.
protected from the Emperor.
This is, of course, all just rumor and might be something else. Who knows?
It's a rumor not worth testing.
Yeah.
But I did verify, in my own way, talking with some of the servants, that Arata Ryokan's is a brew house in the shopping district. And so I at least have that much information for you that you can act on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way, because of the handmaid situation, because just knowing what I believe is probably normal protocol, the princess or whatever her title is, the daughter that we're impersonating currently,
Yeah, that was the
Aiko.
Aiko. She's
She's the
part of
cousin, but
yeah.
I don't know if she's considered a princess.
No, she's just
Okay.
she's nobility.
Just nobility. Okay.
So.
Well, she would probably have handmaidens.
Mhm.
I remember from the previous game
Yeah.
that she had at least 2.
Mhm.
So I don't know if there's a mechanism to spend perhaps karma points or something to allow for knowledge to be passed on from June initially. That said, because at some point her handmaids are going to need to show up.
Yeah.
And so I don't know is that something that we can karma point and work out that
Yeah.
if somebody asks where the handmaids are, well, they're coming. They had to.
Yeah, that's the
Somebody
thing.
fell ill on the way and they stayed behind, and that is why we got escorted in. I mean, I guess we should have talked
Yeah,
about this before,
absolutely.
but
No, that makes a lot of sense. You know, I'll let it go for 2 karma.
are you
So-
guys okay with that?
Yeah.
We
I
have
am.
5 right now.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Let's
Yeah.
do it. So
Go ahead.
I mean, I just got us one back, so it
Yeah.
would have been
yeah, and nobody had asked about it yet, so
Mhm.
I was gonna
Yeah.
try and work
Figure something out.
some story up, but
I think it would be
yeah.
good if they actually showed up and were like, "Oh yeah," because clearly they're going to know about it, and they don't. I mean, I know they're her handmaidens, but if she's been poisoned, as we have been told,
Well,
Yeah.
and they were at least in on it. They knew what was going on.
Mhm.
We don't necessarily know that 100%, but
And so, more than likely, and here's one of the things. So one handmaiden stayed behind on the
Yeah.
shore, and one went with
right? Because there
Aiko.
wasn't enough.
oh,
And
there
so
wasn't enough
one
space.
handmaiden will be making their way here.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is that. And I think that I'll allow for the rewrite based on the karma, which is that's part of the game, is the power of using karma to rewrite something. She's going to come in and assist Rin, providing information and acting like a bridge. For any information that Rin is lacking in this
Okay.
situation, she will be able to come and provide it.
Okay. Cool.
Sounds good.
So, all right. And guys, that is going to be it for tonight
Alrighty.
on this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you all again for the next one.
See ya.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.